down in Sarnia. All right, Max Pacioretty, what a show he gave us at Edmonton. He's with Craig Simpson and Scott Oak. Let's go to Rogers Arena. Scott.
Thank you, Ron. And yes, probably the brightest spot in a difficult season for the Canadiens, although it doesn't seem all that difficult tonight after 2 straight wins. But the brightest spot for 2 reasons. You're the team's first 30-goal scorer since 2008, and your recovery from that frightening injury a year plus 2 days ago that you're undoubtedly tired of talking about, so we'll sneak the questions about that in later. First, let's talk about the game, the sparkling 4-1 win. Craig.
Well, you look at a game like that, and early on you're getting outshot. Max, what does it mean having a player like Carey Price come out and have the period that he did in terms of settling your team down and get you guys to play well?
Yeah, well, you see him step up. Carey's obviously the best player on this team and the most valuable player, and whenever he steps up like that, you want to kind of put a couple in for him and win the game for him, and we're able to do that.
When you look at your team, I know it's been a disappointing season collectively, but here with 13 games left, when you have a game like that you play with so much energy, does it really do that to the team, energize them and get them feeling positive down this little stretch?
Yeah, it really does. Tonight I can't remember having that much fun in a long time. And, when you beat a good team like that, the boys have some confidence right now. Everyone's going on the same page, and I think that's why we're successful right now.
Well, listen, we said 30 goals, which is a milestone for you, but you very nearly had 31. In fact, might have had 32 tonight. One of them went awry when you were upended heading to the net. That leads to this question. Are you of a mind that there are fewer calls as the season has gone on?
I think a bit. I think it's more the mindset of trying to even things out. And, it seems like every game is a little bit different, but at the same time, being able to even things out might make it more of an even playing field, so it's mixed feelings on that.
All right, pair of goals in both Calgary and Edmonton to get to 30 faster than some would have thought you would. Here's an email question from Nick. What's the biggest change that you've had to make? Well, let's look at the goals, I guess, first from Calgary. 2 there and 2 again in Edmonton. And as we watch them, we'll get into this question. We'll see it in a second. But the question is, what's the biggest change you had to make to become a 30-goal scorer?
I think, I say a lot, goal scoring is not just a skill, it's a mindset. And I think going to the right areas of the ice and, making the right decisions with the puck. And obviously I've had tremendous help from my 2 line mates, Erik Cole and David Desharnais. They've looked for me a lot and they've helped me out a lot this season. But like I say, I just got to go to the front of the net and, good things happen when you go to the net.
Well, you think about perseverance for you, and not just the injury-wise, but throughout your career. How much of a story does it tell when I was looking back on your stats, and you hadn't really scored 30 goals at any of the levels of, the USHL, I guess, maybe before. To get that at the NHL level, what does it tell you about just how focused you have to be going forward in your career?
Yeah, it shows anyone can improve their game, and, so much of this game is mental. And like I say, it's scoring goals and mentality. I picked that up from, Mike Camilleri helped me out a lot with that, whether it be shooting or good areas to go on the ice. And, it's something I've worked at so much. I continue to work at, and I'm so interested in, watching some goal scorers. It's I watch a game, and a guy like Thomas Vanek is playing. He's a guy I kind of pick out.
Instincts.
Their habits and where they go on the ice, and I think that's helped me out a lot.
How difficult is it, Max, to celebrate the coming out season you've had when the team has struggled so mightily?
Yeah, it really is tough. At the end of the day, we want to win games, and I want to help my team win games. And I know a lot of these games I have fallen a little short in terms of helping them win the games. So whenever we get a win like last game or tonight, it makes it so much more rewarding.
So put a number on it. Would you give 5 back, 10 back? A year ago, you were laying on the ice at the Bell Center with everyone in the building concerned for your career, if not your life. And I realize that I'm not doing a very good job of sneaking the questions in like I said I would. But after some initial anger, you decided to forgive Zdeno Chara for that hit and move on. How much inner peace did that bring?
Yeah, it absolutely did. He was nice enough to reach out to me, and obviously that showed that he was, concerned about me. And, forgiveness is obviously something I've learned a lot about through this situation. But, at the same time, just being able to put in my past was, probably the biggest thing for my development and moving forward.
I've heard you talk before about your faith, and obviously your forgiveness is a big part of that. But how much is just having confidence in yourself that you could overcome anything that comes your way?
That's exactly how I look at it. That's how I rate my success, is based on the fact that overcoming adversity and overcoming these tough situations at the end of the day will make me a better player and a better person. And right now I'm taking things one day at a time, hoping to become a better person and a better player.
You had said to Elliot Friedman in an Inside Hockey feature he did with you in October, I believe, that you didn't want to be remembered as the player who was hit by Zdeno Chara. You wanted to be remembered for being a good player, and I would suggest that 30 goals.
You've done that this year.
It qualifies you as that. But is it still a concern that that's how you'll be remembered?
Yeah, it really is. You know what? If I have a bad season next year, they'll say, you know, never fully recovered from the hit. They'll forget about this season. So I know this is a long road, and I know that I have to keep getting better every day. But, you know, like I said earlier in October, I don't want to be remembered for that. I want to, you know, be a big part of the Habs organization. I hope to do that for years to come.
Max, you know how quickly things change within a team and lines seem to be juggled an awful lot, whether you're winning or you're losing. Maybe talk about the chemistry that I know David Desharnais did not play tonight, but you, David, and Cole have had together. You seem like you really read each other well. And how long does that take to come together as a unit?
Yeah, you know what, I've played with Davey for bits and pieces of 4 years. And, you know, from the first time we played together, we've had great chemistry. And I've never heard someone say they didn't have great chemistry with him because he's such a good playmaker. But at the other end of the stick, Erik Cole is a player I want to be like. I want to model my career after him, and there's no better way to do that than to play with him and, you know, learn from him. And I tell people also the biggest thing about our line is there's no egos on the line. We're able to, you know, tell each other the truth and, you know, maybe give it to one person if we're not going, and, you know, we want to be better for each other.
Are you learning that communication without saying anything on the ice? I mean, it's pretty exciting when you start to feel like that as a line.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? If Davey strips someone with the puck, goes in on a breakaway and scores, we're so happy for him. It's not like, oh, I wish I got a point there. We're all, like you said, we all want each other to be successful, and I think, you know, I look at my success sometimes as a part of how they're doing. And if one person's not going, I'll maybe work a little extra harder to get him going, and I know they'll do the same for me.
Okay, Max, back to the hit.
Yeah.
But the good news that emanated from it, because for as bad as it looked, a lot of good news did come from that hit. You didn't spend a long time in the hospital with the fractured vertebrae and the severe concussion, just a couple of days. But in the short time you were there, yours and your wife Katja's life changed.
Yeah.
Tell us how.
You know what? You look at life completely differently when you're sitting there in the hospital bed. I know, like you said, it was only 2 days, but I look at life so much differently. I'm so fortunate, and so I don't take anything for granted right now. And, you know, I wouldn't change anything in my life right now, any event in the past or anything. And at the end of the day, I keep saying it's made me a better person and a much better hockey player.
Okay, so you were sitting in the lounge area, and a man comes up to you and says, my son, well, I'll let you tell the story. It's an amazing story.
Yeah, it is. We're waiting just to get away from, you know, the hospital room. We're waiting in the waiting area, and someone comes in, and he's speaking Spanish. My mother speaks Spanish, and he's speaking about religion. He ends up speaking with my mother, and he said, my son Julian he was in a coma. He got in a bad car accident. Can you come see him? And so we went down there and I saw him, and you know, at the bright spirit he had, and you know, how excited he was to see me was you know, eye-opening.
So he's just regained consciousness.
Yeah, he had just regained consciousness, and you know what, I still had thought about it for after the hospital, and still thought of how special that moment was. But then we had a team blood drive, and I ran into him, and he was you know, he was up walking around much earlier than expected, and him and his father were there, and they were wearing my jerseys, and they were so happy to see me. And we ended up getting in touch again. I brought him to a couple games, and just sharing this connection where we both have given each other so much is very special, and it's means so much to me. And you know, we hope to have a relationship for a long time down the road.
Well, and coming from an organization that has had a lot of great role models throughout its entirety, does it stick in your mind that that's something that you want to be developed as a player, but you also want to balance that of what you can actually do in the community?
Yeah, absolutely. I was here for the tail end of Saku's career, and he's a person that you know, I want to model my off the ice you know, image, if you say, for being in Montreal. And he gave back to the community, and I think mine giving back to the community, everyone appreciates it so much. I think they appreciate it a little bit more even than my goal scoring right now. But I mean, people come up to me on the street and they don't say you're having a great season. They say thank you for giving back, and I think that's the most rewarding feeling about it.
Max, here's a tweet from Stuart Honig, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. His handle is Stu the Stats Man. How much assistance was having athletes in the family help to you in your rapid recovery last spring. Before you answer, we got to point out that your wife, Katya, was a Russian tennis prodigy.
Yep.
Your brother-in-law is Max Pacioretty, who had a long career with the Buffalo Sabres, I believe still in the KHL, is he not?
Yeah.
And his wife is Elena
Dementiva,
who was many times a winner on the pro circuit and in fact won the Olympic singles gold in Beijing in 08.
Yeah.
So there's the athletic help you got.
Yeah. Well, you know what? They're all so competitive, and they never really showed me any sympathy, and I think that's what I needed.
That's good.
My father-in-law is, a very tough person, and he was, always motivating me to, like I said, to keep getting better every day. And it's not just going in one ear and out the other. His son's had success for a reason, and it's because of, his inspiring words, and he's helped me out a lot as well.
You talked about the inspiration. You think of players like Jean Beliveau, who's dealing with his own health issues now. But what does it mean to be a part of the Canadiens and seeing some of those old players who have got such great history? And do you have any interaction with them to discuss about the way things used to be and the way things should be now?
Yeah, well, you know what? A lot of the alumni come to the games very often. Bellevue or Henri Richard. We see a lot of them around, and they give off such a presence. They bleed red, white, and blue. They live for this organization, and sometimes you feel bad that we're not giving them the results and maybe not honoring the jersey the way we want to. So, like I said, they all give back. They all give back on a daily basis. You see them at all the charity events that we go to. So it kind of paves the way, especially for us young guys.
Tell us about the Pacioretty Foundation, which is part of the good news that came out of that injury.
Yeah, it's we're up and running. We're doing great right now. We're trying to raise money for this special MRI machine that can give us some answers to brain trauma. And with concussions being such a hot topic right now in both hockey and in the real world, it's hopefully going to be the changing factor in concussions.
You and Katya held a big-time gala in downtown Montreal last month that raised, I think, over $100,000 towards that cause. So clearly it was successful. Who was all there and how did it work?
It was set up through an agency, my brother-in-law's agency, who he works with, and they asked us to be on board. And obviously, anytime you could partner up with Vladislav Tretiak and Alexander Ovechkin, I think you got to jump on it. So, a lot of people were thrilled to see them, and I was a little bit in the background, but it was a lot of fun, and it was for a great cause. And a lot of my teammates also came out and helped support.
Max, don't sell yourself short. You were a 30-goal scorer for the Montreal Canadiens. Final tweet, this quick one from Arnaud Houdon-Turgeon. Ask Max who's better at tennis, he or his brother-in-law, Max Pacioretty.
He's actually a lot better than me. Yeah,
not even close?
No,
it's
not even
okay.
Close. I try to play now, but he warmed her up a couple of times, I think, in the U.S. Open, so he's way up.
Oh, that's just no minor talent. Max, thanks for your time. Appreciate you joining us.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Max. Good luck.
All right.
Max Pacioretty, the Montreal Canadiens.